Hello everyone and welcome to a new video in our IFS Cloud technical video series. My name is Marcel Aușan, I'm an IFS consultant, and today I want to discuss about the report rules engine. I want to give you a brief overview of what report rules are and why they are useful, and maybe as a disclaimer, this is probably the #1 feature that I've seen implemented across all the different IFS cloud projects that I worked with, and probably after this video you will also understand why this functionality is very beneficial for a lot of customers. Before going into the system, I want to just go and show you a bit what the brief diagram about what the report rule engine is and how it interacts with the IFS cloud functionality. So basically it all starts from the red box on top when the users want to order a report. This can be any type of operational report, as we call them in IFS cloud. So everything that could generate a PDF. So if we talk about customer invoice or order confirmation, purchase order, whatever different report you are using, it will open a print assistant dialog, where you can choose which layout you want to use for this report, what's the language, if you want to send an email, what's the printer that you want to print it, and so on. This is all information in the print dialog that we can get default values from the report rule setup. We will see. But the most important thing is when we press OK on the print dialog assistant, the request goes to a report formatter, and then we get a print job in print manager, and we finally have the XML file created and a PDF in the end. And our scenario today would be to create a report rule that whenever a customer invoice is printed, but only when it's printed for the first time, so when the status changes from preliminary into posted authorized, for example, we need to intercept that PDF, attach it as an attachment to the document management module, and be linked with the customer invoice, and also at the same time send an email to the customer contact with the PDF attached, like, dear customer, here is your invoice. Of course, this would save a lot of manual work for the order coordinators or customer service department. Good. Let me just then go into the system and show you what I'm talking about. So basically we are in the customer invoice, and what we want to achieve. Let me take one that's in preliminary status. What we want to achieve basically with the report rule is that whenever we print the invoice, we attach a document in the attachments section. Here we should have a document, and also we should send an email to the customer reference. Now the customer reference in our case is Michael Brown with a person ID 65. If I just drill down into the customer address, we can see our person here, and if I click again on the person and go to communication method, we can see there's my personal email address in this customer reference for Michael Brown. So basically I should get the email with the PDF. Good. Then first thing we do when we want to set up a report rule, we need to identify a few things. We go one forward. Okay, we need to identify a few things. So we need to identify that unique triggering point so that we ensure the PDF is only attached once to the invoice and the email is only sent once. Because normally when even if an invoice is in status posted authorized, you can reprint it multiple times. We have one here that's in posted authorized. We can go and do reprint modified as many times as we want. And obviously we don't want each reprint to trigger an email to the customer. That would not be a smart idea from our side. That's why we just need to identify some conditions to make sure the email is sent only once. And how do we do that? Normally we do it by, or in my case, I would do it by printing the document twice. So once from the release invoice, yeah, I know this is the time when it will change from printed, from preliminary to posted authorized. And this is the print assistant that comes up. Also from the report rule, we can set up default values for everything that's in here. I will just hit OK. So this is my first printout. And then you see it's in posted authorized status. I can go to share and reprint modified. Yeah, so I can reprint the invoice again. And I have two prints. Yeah. Now when I go to print manager, and I have it opened here in a different tab, in the print manager, if I do a refresh, I should see, let me just order descending. Yeah, and I will see these latest two invoices that were printed like, yeah, in this minute. Yeah. The first one, 190, is the one that's the original print that we need to attach as a PDF and send the email. And the second one is just to check that we don't send the email for this one. Yeah. So what we want to do here is we want to save the XML data. Okay, I will just save it on my local PC because we want to look at the content of this XML file and figure out some conditions that we will only send the email whenever the invoice is printed for the first time. Yeah. So let me take the second one, and again I will save the XML data, and then I will open it with Edge and share that screen so that we can have a look at the data together. Okay. Okay, now let me show you the Edge browser. So I open the files. Okay, and now we see the files here. One of them I named posted, and the other one preliminary. Yeah, so what we need is to find a way to only find a condition in the data here that we only send the email whenever the first invoice is printed. Yeah. So what we have here in the XML data, we will have a lot of different data points. Yeah, we will have processing information, things about the formatting and everything that comes from the print assistant window, but we don't really care about this, so we will collapse it. Data assembly parameters, yeah, we don't really care about it. Translations, again, we don't care about, yeah. And what we really care about is the customer order invoice rep. Yeah, this is the where the data resides. Yeah, so here we will see data about our invoice. Yeah, we will see the salesman, we will see the invoice number, invoice reference. Yeah, we will see the customer number and the name. Yeah, and if we scroll down, we should also see something about the lines. Yeah, we see the invoice line. Yeah, where we have the prices, we have our Cube Reaction Pro bicycle that we sold, and so on. Yeah, and obviously here we need to find, particularly in the header level, yeah, before going into the lines, some condition that is true in the case of the preliminary invoice and not true in the case of the posted authorized invoice. You know? And let's go through the list. And one thing that comes to mind is this invoice copy label. Yeah, you see this one is different. So invoice copy label, it seems whenever the invoice is printed for the first time, we have a value of original, and when the invoice is already posted authorized, here invoice, where is it? Invoice copy label is null. Yeah, so this could be a first thing that we could use in our condition. Yeah, so we could use the invoice copy label. So whenever invoice copy label is original, then is the moment when the invoice is printed for the first time, and this is when we need to send the email and intercept the PDF. No? So now, having figured this out, we can go back into the application, yeah, and show you the report rule. And we will create it together. So we go to report rule. And we have a few report rules defined here, but I will create a new rule. Let's just call it 999. Description, we give it a description. So it's about customer invoice. Attach PDF and send email. Okay, very important is the report ID. Now report ID, we also have it in the XML file. So I will just copy it from the XML file. It's customer order invoice report. Yeah, this one. Of course, we want to enable it, and I will save it, and then we come to our conditions. Yeah, so here in the conditions, we put all the different conditions that we want to be met in order for the actions that we will create to be executed. Yeah, so for actions, we will create two actions. One to attach the PDF to the document management module, and another one to send the email. And for conditions, we will add some conditions. And we will do that in a second. So for conditions, the first thing that we will do, I will just press the plus sign. And here we have a new assistant, yeah, with different logical operators and first expression, operator expression 2. I will show you how this works. But the first condition that we will put is the expression 1, and we can set expression 1, and then we get another assistant with all the different data points from the XML file. Yeah? So we identified in our XML file that we want to look for the invoice copy label. Okay. So our expression 1 would be the value from invoice copy label, and we hit OK. Should be equal to original. Yeah. And we could say OK. Yeah, and we have our first expression here, that the invoice copy label should be original. Yeah, so this would mean the report rule will not be triggered when we reprint modified the invoice. Yeah, because we've seen in the XML data the invoice copy label is not original, is null, so this will not be executed. Yeah. Then if we think about we want to send an email, of course, we can have different email bodies. Yeah. So let's say if we have English, if we have customers that speak English, then we would want to write the email in English. Maybe if we have customers that speak German, we would want the email body to be in German. Yeah. And in order to do that, I would add a different condition and look up a condition based on the language code. Yeah. So if I come here to the customer invoice and do a reprint modified, we should see here in the print assistant that we also have a language. Yeah. And this is something that we can capture in the report rule. Yeah. So new condition. Okay, and now I need to use the logical operator because we already have one condition. So we need to use an AND. So the invoice copy label should be original, and expression 1. Let's set expression 1. We should have some attributes here, variables on the lower box. Yeah, and here you see the language code. Basically here we could see all the different variables that are available in the print assistant. Yeah, so I will just say language code as my expression 1. Okay, so language code equals equals en, and the logical operator got deleted in the meantime, but needs to be and okay. Yeah. And now our conditions look like so. Customer order invoice copy label should be original and language code should be English. And since we want to send the email to somebody, we also need to make sure that we have a value in the email field inside the XML data. So there's a field. I will show you. We create a new condition. So set expression 1. We set expression 1 to, let's just search for email. So there's a neat expat search functionality. So if I just type email, it will just bring all the different fields which contain what I've written. But there's a standard field called customer email, and usually you will see this in your XML data, where you will see that there's my email address ID, my personal email address ID, which is linked to this contact reference Mr. Brown. So we take the customer email and we say operator is not equals to, so greater than, smaller than sign, null. And we put a logical operator and this last condition is just to ensure that we will not get an error message in the application message when the email is trying to be sent, that there's no not a valid email address when we want to send that we want to send the email to. So now we have set up our report rule and condition, and the next thing that we need to do is to set up our actions. How do we do that? Simply by pressing the plus sign. We press the plus sign here and we see an assistant opening up again, and the action name that we set. There are a lot of different options that we could use. Set property, set default property, pre-select properties. These have to do with the default values that we can specify for the print assistant. But we will not use this today. Today what we will do the send email and check into document management. So IFS Cloud comes with a full document management module where users could store document, categorize document, have different process flows based on different documents. And the first thing we want to do is to check it into document management. Okay. And now we get a few fields that we need to fill out. First is the logical unit. If you remember the logical unit, we can find it if we go to the customer invoice and if we go to debug page info, we would be able to see the logical unit name, customer order invoice head, which I will just copy in the report rule. Control V. This is the one. Okay, obviously we need to put in a document class. And normally what I do in this case is what would happen if I want to add an attachment manually. It's the same things that I would want to add. So I need a document class, I need a title and so on, and there should be a document class called customer invoice. So cust invoice, I will just copy this and put the document class here. This is all functionality inside the document management module, that different documents are categorized by document classes. Then document file name, I will just put it like this, document file name. Okay, document number, we leave it empty. Document title, this is the title of the document, and here we could start writing and using different variables from the XML file. So we could say invoice and then a dash. Let's go get expression. Maybe we use the invoice number. Let's see if we find invoice NO. Yes, invoice number. We take it. So we will say it's invoice dash invoice number. Maybe dash let's see, we put customer number. Yeah, but of course we could put whatever information is in the XML data, whatever fits our scenario. But for now we will just give you the file name, invoice, then we put the customer invoice number and the customer number, and we hit OK. Okay, and very important is the keyref. Yeah. Now the keyref is something that we could easily find if we go all the way to attach. Finally, document here. Let me just attach one PDF that I have locally, and then we could see how the keyref looks like, because we would need to remake that keyref. And to write the syntax for that keyref. Okay, I'll just attach one PDF on my local PC. I will save it. And then we see that the document was attached, and clicking on this button will get us to the document revision details in document management module. Yeah, so basically what our report rule will do, will create a document revision and attach it to the customer order invoice head logical unit. Yeah. And here in objects, if we go, we can see the object key. So basically we need to give the company in this case and the invoice ID. Yeah. As a key reference, so it knows to which object in IFS it needs to be visible. Yeah, so therefore we need a company and the invoice ID. And if we go to the report rule, key ref, then we need to get expression. And let's see, for company, I have created a custom field. Yeah, so in the report layout, the company value was not available by default, but in the customer order invoice table, this company was already there. Yeah, so I just created a read-only field and enabled it to be used in reports. So I can see this one here, CF or custom field. So we use this one. And then one thing that we need to do is to copy the circumflex character here. How is it? Let me copy it. Yes, so this is important. After each parameter, we give this circumflex character, and then we need to give the invoice ID. Invoice ID, and there's this invoice ID string. Again, this could be easily seen in the XML data. And after this, we also need to paste the same circumflex accent string character, and then we just say OK. Yeah, and this is our key ref. So the company from the custom field and the invoice ID string, that is a standard field in the invoice layout. Yeah, and we need to remember after each parameter to put this strange character. Okay, and with this, I think we could say finish for our action to check into document management. It's enabled by default. Of course, if we want to, we could disable it. Yeah. But the idea is that within the same report rule, we can create multiple actions and enable, disable as we wish the actions, but we will just leave them enabled. I'll create a new action, and this time we will just say send email. Okay, and send email next. And here we will get the properties for sending the email. So like email body, carbon copy from subject to, and attachment name. Yeah. So in the to field, we start with the to field. We need the customer email. Now we already used that field in the condition, so we will get it again. In the condition, we just check that it's not null, but here we will really use it. So email, customer email. Okay. Then we need a subject. subject, and we can say your invoice number, and then we can get the expression the invoice number so that it changes dynamically. Invoice NO, this one invoice number, so we can say your invoice number is ready. Okay, yeah, once again here we checked before in the condition that the report was printed in English language, therefore our subject and our the body of the email will be in English. If we want for German, then we need a different report rule with a different condition that the language of the report is German. Good. So for the body, let me go to get expression. Just start saying, dear customer, attached you can find your invoice. For any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Best regards, finance team. Okay. Okay, so this is the email body. Okay, and the only thing that we also need to do is the attachment name. So in the attachment name, we could put, and maybe start writing invoice number underscore, and we can get expression and put in the invoice number, invoice NO. Yeah, so this functionality is pretty easy once you get a hang on it. Okay, so our attachment will be called invoice number underscore and then the invoice number, the CD something. We have the body, we have the subject, we have the to. Yeah, we don't put anything in from, so it will just put administration. And then we say finish. Yeah. And now we can see here we have two different actions linked to the same report rule, yeah, which has three conditions, and it's enabled. No? Good. Then let's see if it works. So how do we see that? Maybe before that, I need to also show you the report rule log. Yeah, so here we can see a log of where all the report rule IDs are. Whenever something is printed, all the report rule IDs are analyzed and checked. Yeah, and if one is found to be true, that means it will be executed. So all the different conditions were evaluated to true, then it will execute. Yeah. In our case, let me just clear the log so that we see whenever some new logs are generated. Maybe one thing to mention, the report rule advanced logging is turned off by default in a new IFS Cloud installation, but you can change this from the system parameters screen. Let me go there quickly to show you. There is one parameter for report rules advanced logging. If this one opens up, I will show you where that is. System parameters, and here I will search for something with report. This one is what we're looking for. Report rule advanced logging on off. By default, when you do your installation of IFS Cloud, this will be off. And this means there will be no rows inserted in the report rule log. Yeah? Of course, it's very useful when setting up report rules and troubleshooting to see if it was executed, if not, why it was not executed. It's useful to turn this on. Of course, in a productive environment, it would be useful to have this one off, but in a development environment where you set things up, it's very useful to have it on, and then you could see through the logs how the different report rules evaluate against the printouts that you're doing. Yeah. Good. So then I go to the next preliminary invoice, and I want to make sure if I go to release invoice, the customer invoice will be printed. Okay, this is what we want. And we just need to ensure the language is English. Okay. And the other conditions were that there is a customer email address, so it's not null. We've seen that there is a email address behind our person. That's a customer reference. And we need the invoice copy label to be original, and we know this is true when we print it for the first time. Yeah, so we just printed it. Now we can go to our report rule log and do a search. Yeah, and we can see that all the different rules were evaluated, and here we can see the following rules were evaluated to true. 999 is the one that we created. Yeah, and we see that it's starting to build the email body and so on. Yeah, so if we go into the customer invoice again, this is our invoice, and if I refresh, we immediately see we have a 1 in the attachments. If I click on it, go to attachments, and I see invoice dash invoice number dash customer number. Yeah, if you remember, this is what we've set up in our report rule. 999 here in check into document management, and this is the document title invoice minus invoice number minus customer number, so exactly what we see here. And furthermore, we should also have an email sent. Let me just go to the application messages. This is the way that emails go out from the system. So we can see we have one from 2 minutes ago, finished. And we can see the subject, your invoice number CD19 is ready. So we can view the details. And in the details, we could see there is a PDF file, yeah, with the invoice number, and there is also email body. Yeah, in this message request, there will be the email body. Yeah, we see this one is finished, so this means the email was sent. Let me just quickly check if I get any email. In the meantime, but it should arrive any minute now. My inbox is still loading. Yeah, and we see here the invoice. Let me just open it up, and then I will share the screen with the invoice. Okay, and then let me share my screen quickly. Okay, and here we can see that I got the email, your invoice is ready from my IFS application to my email address, but this is the email address behind the customer contact. Yeah. The only thing that we could have done better is to put some break HTML tags in our email body, so that, because at the moment everything is in one line, but with just some simple HTML break tags, then we should have it nicely formatted. Yeah? But this is how you can automate, once again, sending the email to your customer whenever a new invoice is created, and also that you have the PDF attached to your customer invoice. Yeah. And now maybe going back into IFS again, we just also need to make sure that the invoice is not sent multiple times or attached multiple times. So I'll go back to the customer invoice. So it's posted authorized, and I will try to share reprint modified. And the goal is that I should not see another attachment and also no other email. So I'll just click OK. Yeah, and if I refresh, yeah, this one stays at 1, the counter for the attachments. And if we go to report rule log, that's order by executed. Yeah. So we see for this print job ID that I just printed now, no rules were evaluated to true. And obviously this is because our condition regarding the invoice copy label, whenever we reprint modified, this invoice copy label is not original but is null. Yeah. So this way we are sure we only send the email once to the customer, and we also only attach the PDF once. Now we can also have a look at PDF, how it looks. This is the standard invoice layout. Yeah. Good. I would say this was all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, it's a very powerful feature, this rule engine. I invite you to check it out. In the description of the video, I will also leave the full documentation link where you can read more about the different actions that you can still create. So there are a lot here that we did not cover. Yeah, we only covered 2 of them and mentioned briefly about the set property, but I will send you the link where you can read more in depth about all of these action types. Good. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of the day and stay safe.